thinking about it. We're talking about it the whole time. We come back, we put More Kids in Sailboats in, and somebody had already bought it, the website.
Yeah.
What?
Thankfully, we knew the person.
Somebody we knew. And we were able to like turn it around and put it into our name and whatever else. So that was like in its infancy, how it all sort of began.
Yeah, we threw a trademark on the logo and we filled out, all the necessary paperwork, which it, took very seriously. Obviously, I think you get one chance to turn in a 501c3 form to the government, and we did it. And the one thing that U.S. Sailing said also in this is that if you don't do this, people are going to take your ideas and sell them back to you in 2 years.
Oh my God.
Own your ideas. You guys have latched onto something that we've obviously followed for years. You didn't know it, and now it's time to go. So we got the paperwork.
But we still were like, okay, but what is our idea?
Like,
what are we
you had to hone in on it.
Like you can't have a nonprofit that just is a way to catalog your kids' pictures.
Right. But
goes right into your bank account.
Right.
Yeah,
and people don't understand though, like a lot of that stuff that you guys are talking about, like, what is it, the 501c and like all that stuff, that's like a lot of work, filing and to do a nonprofit and the organizational part of it. I mean, and getting a trademark and LLC. I mean, that's a lot of legwork. So you guys had to backtrack and put the bones together then, right? So you guys have.
And if we weren't like office mates at the dining room table for 6 months of work from home.
You love each other though.
He reads everything out loud. It is the most irritating.
Aw.
I love it.
Sounds like great office mates.
By the way,
every email, everything, I'm like, stop vocalizing.
Let me just tell you, here's something irritating that the man babe does. He eats bananas in the most irritating way. I'm like, if you come near me eating a banana, I will like rip somebody's eyeballs out. Like, he's like, what? I'm like, oh my God, you're going to die. Like, why?
I only read the really important emails.
Oh,
Apparently they're all really important because they were all read out loud. But I do truly think like without the pandemic happening, we probably would not have had the opportunity to be like physically working as close together as we were and mentally working as close together as we were.
Yeah.
Because you guys both have full-time jobs. You're a teacher and you're in marketing, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so that's a perfect combination for what you do.
Yeah.
For More Kids on Sailboats.
We didn't know that though. We just trademarked a hashtag that we didn't own because somebody told us over a bottle of champagne that was what we were supposed to do. We got back and said, what are we going to do with this?
Like, what are we going to do?
Honestly, that's the universe being like, hello, wake up, whack, whack. Like you guys have something good here. Let's do something.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I loved it so much. I just started working on it all the time because then I started putting together sponsorship packets and who wants to partner with us? Katie's like, but what are we? I'm like, we'll figure that out later.
Right. What are the bones? What are you guys though? Because I know that you have like a couple different levels to like the organization. So what is like the basis of More Kids on Sailboats? Like what is More Kids on Sailboats? Like what are you guys doing with it? Like what does it mean? It's not just a hashtag anymore. It's something more.
It is. That is the truth.
Yeah, I can actually, you can tell them about the programs and I'll read you. Well, I don't remember the official mission statement is so well written by our good friend Jay Roth.
You've got to read it out loud.
No, just got to read it out loud. Well, I'm an out loud reader. I didn't know if you guys one of my skills in life.
It goes on your resume. I can read out loud.
Will you guys endorse me on LinkedIn for
totally
strong out loud reading
skills?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Here we go. We believe problem solving skills, the ability to think critically, along with some grit are what today's kids needs. Relationship, teamwork, determination, perseverance. All of these can be gained through More Kids on Sailboats, a new 501c3 organization launching skill building programs for new and experienced sailors. Restoring, rigging, and navigating boats fosters leadership, camaraderie, and communication. With co-ed multi-generational crews gaining this skill set through prep, practice, perform, and provide programs funded through supportive, generous partners, this next generation will have the tools needed to succeed in the 21st century.
That's like our elevator speech.
That's our big elevator. That's our elevator speech.
And it's basically like more kids on boats, less kids on TikTok, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
this-
like,
Yes, yes.
However,
exactly.
we do put the kids on all sorts of social media platforms
Yeah.
to promote More Kids on Sailboats.
I know,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
no, I know, but that's just the nature of the beast these
Yeah.
days, like that's, for
But
sure.
in summary,
Yeah, there's 4 programs within it. There's program prep, which is our restoration and just working on boats program. Like, how do you stand them on them? How do you take a boat from a ding or a damage that might be caused as you're learning to sail and grind and buff that out and make it, pristine again. Then we have program practice, which is
we know we changed it. It's promote.
Oh,
Remember
promote.
you? Yeah,
Sorry.
we had a meeting last week when I was talking out loud.
Ooh.
We changed
Promotes.
it.
promote. Go ahead,
Yeah.
talk about promote.
Promote is literally introducing new sailors to the sport. In 2 weeks, July 30th, we have partnered with the Columbus After School All-Stars, and they work with economically challenged areas and provide opportunities for kids to do everyday learning. But on Fridays, they do field trips, and these
Oh,
field
cool.
trips are to new opportunities they might not have within their demographic or sociographic
Right.
profile. And it's golf, it's art, and now it's sailing. So we're going to introduce kids to water.
Sweet. That's
And-
awesome.
Yeah.
and promote has another level of introducing kids that know how to sail into new and different opportunities. A lot of kids grow up in junior sailing, dinghy programs, Opti, 420s, lasers, and they get to 18 and they go, well, what do I do now? I sail this boat by myself now that I'm 18. Well, if you go down the dock, there's this crew with 10 people on it. They all eat pizza and they all have a good time. So we're trying to connect them to new opportunities in sailing. Some of these kids are phenomenal sailors, but they literally have looked at us and go, well, how do you get on a crew?
Right.
Go, well, you ask somebody. Well, what do I
Right.
do? Like, it's just like, hey, A meet B because it might equal C.
Right.
And it's
And the flip side of that is also connecting adults to kids. I mean,
Yeah.
we can do a lot to get the kids to connect with the adults, but we also have to get the adults to take a risk. Like we started off saying in the beginning, how do you feel in the middle of the storm when you have kids that aren't your own kids,
Right.
on board?
Yeah.
And we've become comfortable with it, but it's getting other people to feel comfortable with it as
And
well.
is this a local program, or could my kids in Michigan get involved in learning how to sail? And because
Yeah.
I would love them to.
what we're
It is our
trying.
hope.
It is our hope.
To
So
grow.
what our hope is to grow, and what we'd like to find is the good thing is a lot of organizations own a ramp, some boats. They're connected to a yacht club. We don't have to be connected to anything. We don't own any property.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is
We're
take this.
bohemian.
Yes.
We're
Spirits.
embracing our bohemian lifestyle. And we can just go wherever the wind
You
blows.
You guys are gypsy boat
Yeah.
owners. That's
What we're-
awesome.
What we're actually trying to do is, because of some of the partnerships we have, it provides great elements for them to be on the boat. I mean, they have Swiss Army knives. They hydrate with Gatorade. They drink their Gatorade out of Yetis. They have Harkenderm sunscreen. Like, they have all the
Tools.
elements. So what we're trying to do is almost find like gypsy boats. It sounds like we're a bunch of pirates out in the
I know, you
Mexico.
pirates.
And what we'd like to do is find skippers and clubs or boats or groups of people that want to be on board of the organization, and they actually pay into a small fee just to sign up for the program, and then we
Yeah.
kind of set them up as our
Like a charter or something, like a
Yeah,
like a- like a cha-
exactly.
yeah, like branch off. Like you guys are the trunk, and you want to build some branches. Yeah,
Yeah,
to
so we're
reach to have a
testing
broader
out-
reach. Yeah,
We're
that's awesome.
testing that this summer. We've got a boat racing in Holland with 3 kids on board, a 6-person crew and 3 are kids.
That's cool.
And we're actually working with the group down in Charleston within the Beaumont Community Sailing. There's a great group down there, and we're just trying to. It's a lot of walking before we run.
Yes,
Sure.
I
What
hear
our
that.
plan is to start to get other boats involved. An opportunity came up in my hometown of Port Huron for the Leukemia Cup. A skipper that was kind of one of the original More Kids on Sailboats when I was a kid said, "Hey, we'll bring the kids. You can have my boat Labor Day weekend. Go race my J35 offshore in Lake Huron." I'm like,
Oh, wow.
"What?" He's like, "Yeah,
Guys, like, just find the kids.
just find the kids. I'll give you the
That's
keys."
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so
it
cool.
is, I mean, there's we have tentacles out everywhere, and we'll see what happens. But
I
then our
honest-
Leukemia Cup,
Sorry.
one of the other like pillars is provide, and we try, and last year it was Leukemia Cup, which is a national, Leukemia Lymphoma Society does a series of regattas across the nation called the Leukemia Cup regattas, and a portion of the sailing is fundraising, and then a portion of it is actually racing. And our kids crew like rocked it out of the park with joining. So the provide would be joining some philanthropic group, and our kids crew ended up raising $27,000 for
That's
LLS.
amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing.
29.
They're still coming in.
Oh, geez. Which was, it was just, I mean, that was incredible. Okay,
But-
so we had the prep, we talked about promote, provide,
Perform.
sorry, and
And
that is the
perform is
race,
our race team.
race team.
So back to the philanthropic. Wait,
Yeah.
yeah. So one of the kids had cancer, correct? Was that like the connection though too? So it was kind of like a personal.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess that we're coming full circle in the story.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing how you do that, Jocelyn. We're back full
I'm a
circle.
professional.
Like
Super
you've done
good.
this before.
I've done this a couple times.
So we come back, we start this nonprofit, and we're mid-pandemic. It's probably like May or June, and we're up on, it was like a freezing cold night at the sailing club, and we're talking to some other families about it, and just like, where is this going to go? What are we going to do with it? And the kids actually were sitting at a picnic table beside us, and they were like, well, we should do Leukemia Cup. Like that should be the regatta that we put the kids crew together for. Oh boy.
No, you're good. Hi, puppy.
And then we were hosting it at our club, so that worked out really well. And then one of the kids crew is a leukemia survivor, and so it made perfect sense. It was this natural marriage to go out and support that organization, and support Molly directly and indirectly. Fortunately, she's a survivor, and she's in remission, and all is well. And,
Yeah, everything's
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
but it was pretty powerful to have her on board.
Well, and the interesting thing is if you looked at the calendar last year during the pandemic, there was no other races on the calendar. Everybody kept saying August 29th, we're going to have a regatta. Well, this is like May. We're like, that's usually the 17th regatta of the year. So it was this circled date. We were the first boat to sign up. People were like, this isn't even going to happen.
Right.
I'm like, well, listen, we've got this crew of kids that are raising all this money. They're going to go race themselves around this darn island. if they
Right.
Yeah.
do. And then it caught on that we've got 12 kids going to race a boat to raise money and awareness for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So then we're on the phone with US Sailing, who's saying, hey, the Olympics are canceled. There's an opportunity for content. Next thing you know, we've got a director, we've got a title sponsor, and they want to make this into a short film about the kid's journey to raise the
Super
money.
cool.
So the bar went from like, hey, we should do this, it feels good, to like, oh my God, we're making a movie.
Yeah. And then you're like up in the middle of the night, like having hot sweats because you're like, holy
Totally.
shit.
What? Commit ourselves.
Well, then
to.
somebody
Where's
called,
the rum? Where's the rum?
yeah, it's right here.
Yes, right.
Oh.
Salute.
It's in the Yeti.
So
they were the title sponsor of the film. So
Yeah.
we give them lots and lots and lots of
I see your shirt too.
They're amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeti,
They've been
Yeti's
huge
amazing.
supporters.
Even-
placement.
yeah, right.
Been kind, and
That's pretty awesome. I mean, this is like a perfect partnership between the two of you guys. You're doing something that you love. You've turned like something that you are passionate about into now a passion project to now like a nonprofit. And, I mean, it's something that your girls, I mean, you're modeling like something like really cool and beyond cool. It's like amazing that your kids are going to like, it's just really going to imprint on them and they're a part of it, So I mean, and it sounds to me like everything is just like it's been like an organic thing that's just, everything has just been, one thing gets into place and the next thing clicks, click, 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 click. And it's just like,
very grassroots. Like we just kind of, figured out the next hurdle.
The
So the
universe is telling you to do this in every way.
Yes, totally. Totally.
The gypsies are
The
telling us.
gypsy universe.
You might have to do something with the gypsy like thing. Like it might be like a
It might
thing.
be like a t-shirt or something.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be like.
So like the end goal would be that any child that participates in one of our programs, whether it's a prep program or a provide or
Perform.
or a, what's our new, oh gosh, I keep wanting to say.
You made it.
Promote.
It's
Promote.
Promote.
Oh, wow, Jocelyn.
I know.
I was going to say
Promote
pirates.
the program of promoting the
Promote
nonprofit.
sailing, would be able to apply for scholarship to do anything that would develop problem solving and grit. So doesn't necessarily have to be an academic scholarship. It could
Sure.
be going to a camp. It could be, somebody's wants to do an internship in, California and housing's included. We could help them, along with that. So that would be like the long-term ultimate goal. And that's where any donations, any contributions are going to that scholarship fund.
That's awesome. You have a noble cause. Like that's like a noble cause where it's like, springboarding.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, to be able to allow someone to do something that they're passionate about, which I think is awesome because that's like key, for, I don't know, I'm trying to build that with my teenager. I'm like, you know what? Try to find something that you're passionate about, something that you're really interested in, and see if you can turn that into a profession or a career or something that can fulfill you, and I think that was kind of missing the way that I grew up a little bit, I mean, I don't know, just, I like it. I love it.
Yeah, and
Oh.
a lot of people, oh, you're giving scholarships to
Awesome.
college. No, I'll give you a scholarship to go to a marine diesel mechanic academy
Thank
if you want
you.
to learn that. If you want to take a
Right.
ropes course at the YMCA camp in
To
Pennsylvania.
learn about, communication or problem solving or.
Absolutely. And it's not just like one
No.
fits all, right? It's like, there's so many different variants of what you can do in life. And it doesn't have to be like a doctor, a lawyer, you don't have to fit in the box. Like there's plenty of things to do.
I'm here to tell you.
You are. She's
Sure.
reinvented herself like
I've
a
had
million
like 17
times.
different careers. Do you guys feel like the sailing piece, because you've obviously always sailed as a hobby, but you both are in different industries. Do you feel like how lucky you are to be doing this as a huge now part of your life? It's kind of marrying your skills. I'm not saying this right.
No, you're right. No, you're saying
Not
it
many people
perfect.
get to do
They
their
don't.
hobby as much as you do now because of this.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
most people don't get to do their hobby to the intensity we do with their spouse or with their
Right.
family. I mean, that's a huge thing that fortunately, we've never taken for granted. We've always recognized that like, this is an opportunity that most couples don't have. And, we said we didn't need to go to marriage prep because we raced a boat during our whole engagement.
man.
That was like, like I was the pointy end of the boat. He was driving in the back of the boat and we're like, screaming at each other the whole time. We're like, well, that serves as our marriage prep.
Yeah, we
course.
rounded the mark and somebody goes, I think we're going with the silver flatware, guys. Just to recap, taking notes because everybody in our crew was in our wedding or part of our wedding party.
Right.
And we had this boat that we just bought, we're still competitive as can be, just sorting it out in the water because we both worked all day and it was pretty funny.
But in the same sense, I grew up sailing with my dad, and now my kids race with their grandpa. So you've got, 74 down to 11 and all the ages in between. And it's just a pretty unique sport, pretty unique hobby to be, whether you do it for leisure or whether you do it as a competitive, to be a part of a team that ranges boys and girls and that many generations is pretty special.
It's like a lifelong sport. It's kind of like golf, it's like you can do it when you're 95 or you can do it when you're, 5, it's like, yeah.
I loved it because I didn't grow up with a sailing family. Some guy named Bob Burt, his son's like, hey, my dad owns a boat. You should come down and sail with us. There was this girl we liked from the other high school. Her dad owns the boat next to us, and she sunbathes on the boat.
It's always a girl or a boy, right?
So it was totally a girl. I was like,
always
full tennis. I'm like, I'm not going sailing. He's like, well, Allison's down there, and I was like, oh, hey. Never saw that girl for 4 years. Never saw her, but I was on a boat, and so he taught a bunch of kids how to sail, which wasn't my dad. So now I feel that, okay, I got to get other kids whose parents don't sail out. So Katie loves the lineage of the family. I'm like, hey, we got to get more people involved in it. So that's why I love trying to get new kids involved and bring them in. And it's funny because just like you said, you could have a crew that has a 5-year-old on it and a 66-year-old on a sailboat. And if that was a soccer game or a basketball or you name the
Tennis
sport.
doubles.
Yeah.
No, but on a sailboat, we'll probably go kick your ass.
Right.
But no other sport in the world could that dynamic work.
Right.
And the
How-
multi-generational, the co-ed,
Yeah.
that's the fun part.
Yeah. And I think, you were telling me a little bit about like some of the fun things that have happened. Like you guys probably have had like, you have kids on a boat and it's storming, right? Like how many countless like fun stories or crazy stories have you had where it's like you're on the boat and like shit's going sideways, and you're kind of like, it's grit.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally grit. I mean,
Yeah.
my mom, this is hilarious, actually. So I think my parents probably were they are absolutely the reason why I never hesitated taking my kids on the boat at such a young age, because they threw us on the boat at such a young age and did it amazingly safe.
You're here to tell about it.
Right. And awesome. My mom does tell this story that she put me in like that. She calls it the bucket because it like wasn't a car seat yet then. But,
Right.
that like baby bucket or whatever. And same thing that we did with the pack and play, strapped it to the keel bolts. And I was 9 weeks old and they were going from Detroit up to Mackinac Island. And
I'm like getting the shivers just thinking about it.
Oh my God. I couldn't even do anything with my kids when they were 9 months old. I was like, help.
9 weeks.
Oh, 9 weeks. Okay. That's even worse. I was like a mess.
so she would get sick if she went down below. So my dad, she would just like hold the tiller, in one spot, sail the boat. And my dad would go down and like shove a bottle in